Ito ang viral ngayon sa social media na umaalingasaw na at ayaw pang ipakita ng mga bayarang media.
Matapos ihayag sa publiko na isa sa tatayong legal counsel ni VP Sara Duterte ay ang kanyang ama na walang iba kundi si dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Nasa panic mood na di umano ang kampo ng Marcos Romualdez dahil wala pang dating Pangulo sa kasaysayan ng bansang Pilipinas ang naging legal counsel sa Korte Suprema. Maaari di umano itong mangibabaw sa mga headline at ang kanyang paglahok ay gagawing pinakamalaking legal at pangpolitikang kaganapan sa bansa. Maari di umanong mas tumutok ang publiko sa legal na depensa ni Duterte kaysa merito ng impeachment case laban kay VP Sara Duterte. Tiyak na di umanong mukhang kakabahan at aatras ang ilang mambabatas at kongreso dahil sa husay at galing ng legal counsel ni VP Sara. Matapos ang balita na isa sa tatayong legal counsel ni VP Sara Duterte ay ang dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte laban sa kanyang impeachment trial. Tiyak na di umanong kakabahan at di umano'y aatras ang mga kumakalaban dito. Ayon pa sa post ni Chinglo sa social media, The Art of War, the Marcos Romualdez camp is in panic mood because no former president in this country's history has ever acted as legal counsel in the Supreme Court until now. Just imagine Attorney Rodrigo Roa Duterte wearing a judicial gown and personally appearing as VP Sara Duterte's lawyer would be a highly unusual event, making it a major media spectacle. It could dominate headlines, and his involvement would make it the biggest legal and political event in the country. The public might focus more on Duterte's legal defense than on the merits of impeachment case. Why? For several reasons. He has a strong legal experience and superb inside knowledge. For entering politics, Digong was a prosecutor for many years. His courtroom skills will be an asset in framing the case, and he knows how to navigate legal battles. He understands fully the Philippine judiciary. Having appointed 12 of the 15 sitting justices, he is familiar with their legal perspective and reasoning style. This knowledge allows him to craft arguments tailored to specific justices' tendency. He is the best political strategist. His presence would almost certainly put psychological and political pressure on these justices. The magistrates will definitely face intense public scrutiny over how they will handle the case. If he can portray the impeachment as political conspiracy, it could affect how justices would justify their ruling. They may look for procedural reason to dismiss the impeachment complaint. Finally, he is a great tactician and an expert in political warfare. His presence could shift the narrative from impeachment to political persecution. If he plays the father's defending his daughter card, it might sway public opinion against the impeachment. His strongman image and direct confrontational style could put pressure on judiciary. In the end, the justices may hesitate to issue unfavorable ruling for fear of political backlash.
Oh my God! Ha! Depensahan mo to, Mr. President! Sabi ng Supreme Court Justice, PhilHealth funds not for other purposes. Oh, gets mo na, Mr. President? Bakit ikaw diretso? Ang pinapahiwatigan ko, kasi ikaw din ang number 1 nagdedepensa sa katarantaduhan na ginawa nyo sa pondo ng PhilHealth. Oh, ngayon, ano masasabi mo? Oh. Oh, Supreme Court Justice na mismo ang nagsabi na ang PhilHealth funds hindi mo pwedeng gamitin sa ibang purposes. Tapos, end of the story. Oh, ilulusot nyo pa? Elolosot nyo pa? What's the next move? Gagawin nyo na namang uto-uto ang mga Pilipino. Ano na naman ang sasabihin mo, Mr. President? Ano na naman ang sasabihin ng Marcos administration? Papaano nyo na naman yan ilulusot? Kaya nahihirapan na yung mga tagapagtanggol nyo. Kaya pansin ko yung ibang mga loyalista, stress na ang pagmumuka. Talagang kitang-kita mo sa kanila na nahihirapan na silang ipagtanggol ka, Mr. President.
Sa gitna ng usaping magkakaroon ng cabinet revamp, kasalukuyan daw na ini-evaluate ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos ang kanyang gabinete.
Wow.
Kasabay niyan, pinagsusumite ni bagong DOTR Secretary Vince Dizon ng courtesy resignation sa mga opisyal ng ahensya.
Wow.
Narito ang agenda report ni Pierre Pastor.
Hindi pa masabi ng bagong upong Palace Press Officer na si Attorney Claire Castro kung may magaganap na balasahan sa gabinete. Pero may isinasagawang evaluation na raw ang Pangulo.
Kasi every time, kailangan naman mag-evaluate ng Pangulo eh.
Wow.
Kung kanyang mga secretaries, cabinet members are doing well
Wow.
for the government, for the people.
Huh?
So, pag nakita po ng Pangulo na,
Oops.
mukhang hindi ito makakatulong, edi we have to find
Wow.
a new leader.
Wow.
And it's for the people.
No, Your Honor. Do you also audit the DOF? We do, Your Honor. Then isn't there a conflict of interest here?
Tama.
Your Honor, we were requested, Your Honor, to discuss the records.
I know,
and
but you're a sitting commissioner.
Yes, Your Honor.
Don't you think there is a conflict of interest here?
Tama.
You're espousing views.
Yeah.
The views are, the contending views are to be decided by this court. And now a sitting COA commissioner stands before the court. I don't get it.
Tama.
I really don't get it.
My apologies, Your Honor. This is, I was requested to discuss the contents of the COA report, and objectively, this is part of our records. And we make a statement, Your Honor, based on this.
But you were not COA commissioner at the time these COA reports were made, right?
Yes, Your Honor. But we have the records, Your Honor. And just a matter of explaining what they contain, Your Honor.
Except that you're wearing too many hats.
We
What hat are you wearing?
We apologize, Your Honor. Apologize, Your Honor.
Grabe. Alam niyo mga Lord, sobrang kawawa yung mga empleyado ng gobyerno na dinadamay ng Marcos administration. Sila yung napapahiya, sila yung sumasalo sa katarantaduhan ng administrasyon ngayon. Imagine mo, COA commissioner siya ang nagpapaliwanag doon sa PhilHealth. Sige, ilusot nyo talaga yan! Pero, I really salute Supreme Court. Grabe kung makagisa ang Supreme Court. Ganyan nga, Supreme Court.
Yes, I'm aware of that, Mr. Solicitor General. But it is a fact that money was taken.
Tama.
Billions. In fact, 89 billion. Although a little was restrained by the government, by the Supreme Court. So that's the fact that billions of pesos were taken
Tama.
from the reserve funds of PhilHealth.
Tama.
What? For the construction of a bridge that has not even started?
Tama.
And that has been funded many times over? And the right of way, a right of way that is already funded by millions, by billions.
Tama.
And then maintenance of the roads.
May budget na yun.
That is already funded by billions under the GAA.
Grabe, buti na lang talaga may Supreme Court. May point ang Supreme Court. Kukunin nyo ang reserve funds ng PhilHealth para saan? Para sa construction of bridge? Para sa infrastructure na may budget na yan, di ba? So talagang may hidden agenda talaga sila dyan sa reserve funds ng PhilHealth. Bakit nila yan kinuha? Sana talaga mabigyan ng hustisya kung papaano nila binalasubas ang pera ng PhilHealth at pera ng taong bayan. Good job, Supreme Court! So nagsisimula na ang oral argument sa Supreme Court pagdating sa PhilHealth, and napaka-satisfying. Panoorin natin mga lods.
Has the government spent even a single centavo from that loan, considering that the project has not even started?
Well, there is nothing to spend for if the project has not even started.
So where is the money? Mr. Solicitor General, in 2021, was there excess reserve funds?
Your Honor, if we are going by the definition of reserve fund under Section 11 of the Universal Health Care Act, that reserve fund is determined by the actuarial computation.
Yes, Mr. Solicitor General, I have no quarrel with that. is, was there excess funds in 2021 coming from the reserve funds of PhilHealth?
Yes, the answer to that
Yes,
question is yes.
and Section 11 tells PhilHealth what to do with the excess funds.
Exactly, Your
Doesn't
Honor.
it? Yes.
No, Your Honor, there is no violation. Because that
Defensive.
responsibility on the part of PhilHealth to make use of any excess over the reserve fund for the twin purposes of increasing benefit packages and reducing the contributions from the members is something that can be implemented within the period of 10 years. It's not something that has to be implemented immediately. So in other words, even if we have that special provision 1D, it does not mean that the obligations of PhilHealth to spend the excess over its reserve fund has been abandoned, because that is something that can be complied with at some future time. It's
At some future time.
It's a 10-year period of
Yes.
implementation.
And this is the sixth year.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you have not started with the programs yet. Because according to you, the excess funds may be devoted for other purposes. Because anyway, the timeline is 10 years.
No, Your Honor, there is no inconsistency because as we speak, PhilHealth has been increasing its benefit packages even before Special Provision 1D came into effect. And more so, after that provision, Special Provision, was enacted as part of the unprogrammed appropriations.
Yes, Mr.
We have seen a
Solicitor
slew of benefit increases over the past several months, Your Honor.
Several months, not only. Several months only.
Galing.
But
When,
even
Galing.
when PhilHealth is required to do it from the time it has been created under UHCA.
that is very true, Your Honor, but
Yes.
this is a matter that's reserved to the Board of Directors of PhilHealth.
Yes.
This is a management
A
thing.
management and a business judgment. But then, the judgment of PhilHealth to disperse its funds is limited by Section 11. That reserve funds, as it is named, is reserved
Tama.
and cannot be subject to the discretion of PhilHealth to
Tama.
be used for another purpose.
We are referring, Your Honor, to the excess over the reserve fund.
Yes, but the excess is also subject to the provision of Section 11. And Section 11 mentions the purposes for which this excess
Tama.
should have been used.
Yes, Your Honor. Let me discuss the second purpose, which is to reduce the contributions of the members. In our opinion, Your Honor, that is something that PhilHealth itself cannot do at the moment. There is no mechanism provided under the Universal Healthcare Act that would authorize the reduction at this time of the contributions from the members. What we see in the Universal Healthcare is a schedule of the premium rates from 2019 down to 2025. But after 2025, there's nothing there. And there is neither any provision for a reduction of the contributions rates, the premium rates. So it is our opinion, Your Honor, that legislative action is necessary to bring down the contribution premium rates.
Right? That is your opinion, Mr. Solicitor General.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. But this court's, my reading is this. This is self-executing. And it is PhilHealth that must execute it because
Tama.
the law is in place already. All right. All right. When funding and programmed appropriations, how does Congress determine where to get the funds and which appropriations to realign?
Your Honor, under Special Provision 1D, there are various sources of funds, such as excess of revenue collections over the targets, or new revenues, whether these are tax or non-tax. There are foreign loans approved which might also go into the pool. And finally, this new additional source.
And excess reserve funds.
Excess...
Reserve funds.
No, it's called
as a result,
fund balance.
Yes, as a result of the review and reduction scheme.